The most important thing about anything is its nature. And the Creator has placed the nature inside the human being. And that nature is the nature of human goodness. The foundation on which we're to build a happy society is based upon human goodness. We can take an earth that was created by the Creator and make it go to work in the human body. Why is it that you can use an herb and I can use the same one and it just don't seem to do the job in the person that I'm working with? Dr. Watkins told me once, he said, there's only one illness in the world. It's a weak area in the body that doesn't have the ability to move toxins out. And wherever it resides, they'll give it a name. If it's in the wrist, they'll call it carpal tunnel. If it's in the toe, they'll call it gout. If it's in the chest area, it'll be some sort of cardiac. He said, he was in Arizona once, and he was speaking to Chief Sundance. And he said Chief Sundance walked up to him. I think those of you who've been around a while would know the story. He said, Chief Sundance said, "White man, when you came to America, we had about 10 diseases, and we had a cure for every one of them. Since you've come here, now you say we have over 2,000, and you don't have a cure for any of them. Something's wrong with that. Something has got to be wrong with that statement." I want to talk about alfalfa and some of the things that it brings to the human body. Alfalfa is an herb, and I believe that if we participate more in the herbal world, we'll have more of a nature that God has intended for us to have. Remember, the foundation on building a happy society is based upon human goodness. How do we get there? There has to be something that will create a conduit in the human being to make these herbs work. And I think human goodness will be the vibration. It's one of them. In this herb, alfalfa, there is a mineral called calcium. This mineral calcium is found and needed mostly in the structural system. It's a tooth and bone mineral. And when I heard Dr. Judd talk about how our kids are being, for lack of better words, misused by their parents because they're not giving the things that we should be giving them. This activity of calcium in the body, it tones building in the body. Now I want you to put your thinking caps on, and you may want to write a few notes down because this is powerful. It builds and maintains bone structure. I'm talking about calcium. It gives vitality and endurance, heals wounds, and counteracts acid. Heals wounds. Now, when we talk about the herbal world, we have to speak about spiritual as well. So when we talk about healing wounds, I'm not talking about a physical wound all the time. It could be emotional. My brother Jeff had lost some loved ones in his life. There's a wound there. And alfalfa could be a main entity in healing. Heals wounds and counteracts acid. Builds and maintains bone structure and gives vitality. Now let's draw this human being. And visualize this human being. And put a little calcium in the body. Something that is a tooth and bone mineral and needed mostly in the structural system. And let's add to that body something that's going to give vitality and endurance. Something that's going to heal wounds and counteracts acid. And let's take this herb, alfalfa, and let's add a little magnesium. Magnesium found and needed mostly in the digestive system, nerve mineral, and nature's laxative. This is something like plantain that our brother Misi spoke about. Plantain promotes new cell growth. Magnesium is a new cell promoter in the body. It relaxes and refreshes the system. So let's throw some of that in that human being. It prevents and relieves constipation and self-poisoning, which we call auto-intoxication. People talk to me all the time about stem cell. I got one. It's called NIPO. But it's in alfalfa. Alfalfa is a new cell promoter in the body because it contains magnesium. And then let's go down to what my brother Richard Dick spoke about. I think I heard him say something about phosphorus being the brain food. This phosphorus is found and needed mostly in the nervous system. It's a brain and bone mineral. It's a nerve builder in the body. It nourishes brain and nerve, and it builds power of thought. Not just thought, power of thought. It stimulates growth of hair and bone. This is phosphorus. There's another one called potassium, found and needed mostly in the digestive system, brain and, tissue secretion and mineral. Potassium. What is this potassium? It is a healer in the body. Liver activator. It is a strongly alkaline mineral. It makes tissue elastic. Muscle support, creates grace, beauty, and good disposition. This is potassium. And then let's go down to sodium, because you find that in alfalfa as well. And this is found and needed mostly in the digestive system, gland, ligament, and blood builder. You know, people will tell you that the life is in the blood. You've heard that before. The life is in the blood. It's a youth maintainer in the body. It aids in digestion, counteracts acidosis, halts fermentation, and purifies the blood. All of these minerals that we have here, that is contained in alfalfa, is destroyed by high temperature. As you know, it's one thing to know about an herb and to speak well about it, but it's another thing to participate. I have a son who studies under me, and he knows a lot about herbs. But I told my wife that he's only repeating what he's heard. She said, sounds good. I said, yeah, he's repeating what he's heard. I don't feel it. And when you don't feel a thing, that's what I call a vibrational frequency that's going out to the individual that's hearing the words. To know a word is to understand its meaning. And to say it is to release its power. So we have to know what we're talking about, and we have to have, it has to be our conviction. We come here every year, and we have people who don't make it there. And we ask that God forgive them for their sins, bless them for their righteous deeds, and reward them with paradise. But some of these people, it's too late. They're gone. And what you have to do is ask yourself, what about me? What about us? Are you going to be here next year? Or wherever the convention is? Am I going to be wherever the convention is? What I'm saying is that you have to take charge of your body. You quit playing with yourself. Wouldn't it be nice to know that God has left a substance on earth that can create life, reproduce life, and human beings can make the transition without being in pain, it's a beautiful thing. There's no death with God. It's a life that the living can't perceive. And what we have to do is take charge. I want to ask you a question. I want you to think about it. Because I believe in this day and time, we're more concerned about machinery than we are about the human touch. The most powerful healer in the world, combined with the herbs, is the human touch. People don't want to touch anybody anymore. Dr. Watkins told me that. He said, you know, people want to put you on a machine. They don't want to touch you anymore. In my class I teach, I have living examples come in, and I tell my students, you have to touch that. Put your hands on the person. Feel the vibration. And they don't want to do that anymore. Let me ask you this question. Do you know of any organic device that you can trust that can tell whether or not an herb is organic? Is there an organic device that can tell you whether or not an herb is organic? Or are you trusting someone that makes mistakes, that makes machines? See, man wants to get more out of nature. Not satisfied with the apple. He wants apple wine, apple butter. When man got on planet Earth, there was no unfulfilled wants. Everything that the human being needs was here. But I'm used to this now, God. I need something better, something that works better. I don't want to touch it. I don't have to touch this anymore, God. We have lost the living spirit in how to move these herbs and make them work. And you must go back to basics. Go back to basics, and you'll find the answer. These brothers that spoke up before me, I could listen all day and build a lecture on everything that they said. Dr. Watkins once told me, he said, you know, alfalfa is a marvelous herb. And if you take enough of it down, it will work. And I went to him and I said, Don, I had a guy tell me that if you had blood type O, you can't take alfalfa. What do you feel about that? And he grabbed both of my cheeks. He said, come here. Let me tell you something. I got blood type O, and I take 30 a day. He said, yeah, blood type O. He said, if you couldn't take alfalfa for having blood type O, he said, I'd be in bad shape. But he took 30 alfalfas. He said, if he didn't take it, he would get some sort of blemish on his skin. And the gentleman come up to me and said, you know, I can't take alfalfa. He had some blood type that. And I stood back and looked and I said, you know, I believe in blood type, human blood. I believe in the human blood. That's the only blood type that I know of. Because I know that you can take 50 people and line them up, and they all must nourish themselves from planet Earth. I don't care where you go, who you talk to, where they are. If the human body has to be nourished, it must come from planet Earth. Because there's only two places in the world where you can get nourishment from. And that is the sun or the earth. That is it. And if blood type O can eat greens, and blood type B positive can eat greens, and blood type A can eat beans and blood type O can eat beans. How is it that we fall into this understanding of eating right for your blood type? I asked Dr. Watkins that. He said, there's one blood type down. Human blood. Just find out the foods that they like. We all must nourish that. If it doesn't have anything from planet Earth, you have nothing going on in the body, right? Is there any place else we can get nourishment from other than planet Earth? Is there any place else we can get blood from planet Earth? I'm asking the question. Huh? No, right? Does blood type B get that nourishment from around the corner, down the street? We all must get our nourishment from planet Earth or the sun. I'll share a few things with you. If people pick up fear or trauma from eating some animal proteins, you say this is a tough piece of meat. Animal knew that he was on his deathbed. And you pick up some of the trauma. You feel that, don't you? Yeah, you can eat some meat and feel the trauma. We've been addicted to a lifestyle that does not create a living spirit. So you're either building a spirit that's vibrant and living, or you're building one that's not. And if you find it hard helping people when you're using God's products, you got to go in your private study and make prayer. God, why isn't this working for me? You eat a piece of meat and you create a spirit that is dying. And that vibration is passed on to the one that you're working with. Dr. Watkins told me once, he said, there's some things that constitute healing in the body. You give them what you want. Indians learn by trial and error. They didn't go to school like you and I. They found something out about the herb alfalfa. He said, but you first have to take the fear out of an individual, because you can't heal in fear. And in Stedman's Medical Dictionary, when I was in school, they said, learn the word suggestion. Learn it until you know it backwards and forward. I asked my wife, I said, why? The instructor said, to implant an ideal in your mind and watch you become the subject matter. To implant an ideal in your mind. And if you don't agree with that, then you better learn what auto-suggestion is. Why? Impressions previously received, which becomes then the starting point of new acts or ideas. First doctor say you have it, and you don't believe it, and you go get a second opinion, he reiterated what the first doctor said. And you know the old saying, what the mind believes, the body can what? Achieve. So our sickness is partially due to the spirit that is dying based on what human beings are putting in their body. He says you have to come out of fear, Doc. And you have to be forgiving. And you have to cleanse. The body has to cleanse. And the body has to be nourished. And then it has to oxygenate. And if you can accomplish those things, then you clean the blood, clean the liver, clean the bowel, and clean the lymphatic system. And if you can do that, you are miles ahead of anyone else. Made sense to me. When I first walked into Pure Herbs, I saw this man with white hair walking back and forth. And they said, that's Dr. Watkins. And I stuck my head through the little glass so he could see me. And he came out. He said, you're Dawud? I said, yes, sir. Dr. Watkins, my wife brought some herbs to our home, and I started taking, and I got results. And I just wanted to meet the man that was responsible for this business. He said, well, that's me. I said, well, you know, my name and your business is going to be synonymous. Because so far it has done everything that I have read that it does. You give it enough, and it'll work. Give it enough. Someone talked about the dosage, and Richard Dick said the dosage is as much as they need. That's exactly what Dr. Watkins said. We have to fall out of this understanding of doctors. See, you have herbalists that will listen to doctors and come back and bring that same understanding to the herbal table. It don't work. You can't bring medical understanding to the herbal table. See, they're arrogant. They believe they have the answer. You become a degree or two higher than them just because you participate in something that God has created. You got the best thing going for you. And when I found that out, I walked into Pure Earth and said, you know what? I got 10 people I'm putting up under my wing. And we commenced to do $1 million in a year and a half. $1 million in a year and a half. And I found out something why this program wasn't working like I wanted it to work. There was something in the nature that wasn't letting me connect the dots. And I had to step back and look and say, why isn't this going like I wanted to go? I know it's achievable. I know that we can do it. And the little boys came out and said, yes, you can. But you have to stop thinking about yourself, Doc. You make a lot of money with Pure Earth. You have to go back and reach and get someone. And if you can do that and show them how to be a good human being, you'll make you a good living spirit. I want for my brothers what I want for myself. And I'm more eager to help them get to where I want to be more so than me getting there. Because no man is an island. You must have others in your corner to help you along. And that's what I was missing. Now, there may have been something in the diet that was holding me back. There may have been something in my diet that was holding me back. So I took a look back and I said, now this is what we're eating. This is what I'm doing. I have to improve upon myself. There are some things that we must stop. And I'm going to do that. I told my wife, I'm going to do that. And when I stopped doing some of the things that I thought I should stop, don't you know, those people that I had was more receptive to what I was saying and did a better job into bringing people into this organization. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of herbal companies out there. But I can tell you this without a doubt. You have the best. Now, there are some people who would rather take this herb than that herb or do with it, but let me tell you. I've been walking planet Earth close to 70 years now. Me and my wife have been together 48 years of marriage. There's some things you learn. And I've learned that I know I'm with one of the world's best companies that's out here. And if Pure Herbs have an herb, and they give you the understanding that what it does, you better believe that you're right in the ballpark. So think of it as think of yourself as having a baseball team. And you want your key players out front. One of your key players is alfalfa. It has so many trace minerals and macro minerals. It's probably an herb that you should always take. You should never stop taking alfalfa. And I wouldn't recommend a person take any less than three times a day. This is when the capsules were 100 and above. Now I tell my client, take 6, 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. I used to drive a Lexus, little bitty Lexus. And when Dr. Watkins told me he took 10 3 times a day, I told my wife, I said, you know, I'm going to try that. I just want to see if he's telling me what's right. And I tried taking 10 3 times a day, and I took it for 4 days. And don't you know that when I got out of that Lexus, I didn't have to stretch anymore. It felt like someone put jacks on my joints and just jacked them. Kept me in place. And I said to myself, I said, I want to be convincing to a person. I want a person to feel what I'm saying. I want them to know that these herbs that we speak about, and especially with me, alfalfa is my conviction. So I have to walk through life with the kind of personality and disposition that will welcome anyone. And when you start cleansing and getting on your square, doing what you're supposed to do, you don't waste time with time wasters. You can see through a person. You know, how's your family? How's your mom? And you keep stepping. Because if they're not going your way, they're kind of in your way. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see us take this company to a whole new level. And one of the things that we can use to get there, I know, is the herb alfalfa. There's many more. Brent talked about plantain. I give them plantain and alfalfa. It stimulates cell growth. Clean the liver with liver cleansing herbs, as Chris spoke about. And understand that when you're gone and you want someone else to follow in your steps, you want them to improve upon what you've improved upon. This means that we have to educate our children. Let them know what's right, because they learn by watching you. They learn by watching you. And if you're not on your square, doing what is right, chances are they won't be on their square, doing what's right. So I'm just overjoyed when I see our prayers family come together once a year. Pat Porter and her husband, I've been seeing them for years. I just love Richard Diggs, I've been for years. And I want to continue to see us. And when we come back, bring someone with you. Make them a distributor. Let them know they have a chance to come back to a convention, should they qualify. They'll qualify. How many people in this room? 50? And we have the world's best? Something's wrong. And let me share something with you before we close. There's a scripture that says, we're learning, right? Yeah, we're learning herbalists. We just don't step out here and say, I want to be an herbalist. It says, one learned man or woman is harder on the devil than 1,000 ignorant worshipers. One learned man or woman is harder on the devil than 1,000 ignorant worshipers. So when we have something that works, when we find something that is beneficial for human consumption, we want to spread the word, right? Yeah, I was sitting at my table and Alex came up to me. He said, hey, Doc, you ever heard of this book? I said, no, I haven't. Dr. Short's Herbology. And he gave me some powerful information that I had to share with the world. And when I opened that book, one of the first things I read was, the only breathable oxygen produced by nature is from the leaves or lungs of plants. And there's something. The only breathable oxygen produced by nature is from the leaves or lungs of the plant life, given off into the atmosphere in abundance. Dr. Watkins once told me, you don't get pollen, you don't get hay fever in America from pollen in China. God has become so merciful, everything that we need is right here. And this oxygen that is produced by nature from the lungs of leaves, given to us as a gift from God. The understanding that we get of herbs given to us by a gift of God. And what are we going to do with that? We have to go out and heal a dead world by what God has given us. And one of the things I would like you to keep in your storehouse of herbal understanding is alfalfa. Okay? Thank you very much. Any questions?
First of all, again, I want to thank all the speakers today. This was great. We talked the process of changing the format and